Welcome back to episode 8 of Weekly Q&A with Steph. I hope everybody enjoyed our revamp and back into the swing of things with episode 7. So let's get straight into the question.
Robstone20 asked, what internal communication cloud app do you recommend accountants use? Slack, Yammer, Jostle, others?
Thanks for the question, Rob. So internally at GrowthWise now, we use Slack. We implemented Yammer 6 years ago when we were first starting out and had a few employees, and it was great, but it really wasn't providing the interaction and the ability to host and basically put a whole heap of other applications into the mix as well. So we absolutely love Slack. It's one of our really important communication tools that we use internally. We haven't emailed internally each other, so I don't really get an email from Alan or Andrew or Christy or anyone in the team. Everything is done internally in Slack, and it's actually a lot of fun. But we don't just use Slack to quickly shoot each other notes or to ask technical style questions. We actually use it to do a stack of other things as well. So we have a learning channel, and it's one of my favorite channels to actually browse through. And we really encourage everyone to be writing in the learning channel every day or at least once or twice a week for what they've learned today that's new. And it doesn't necessarily need to be something really big or something that's technical of nature, but I want the whole team to be sharing every single thing that they've learned so that the rest of the team can learn as well. And it's been amazing. We still do technical training, and we still do training on different apps in a very structured manner, but everybody's actually quite excited to be sharing those little tidbits on a daily basis as well. And we use Slack, so all of our social media stuff flows into Slack as well, so the whole team knows if we've posted something on Facebook or if we're doing something on Instagram, it automatically pops in for the team to be reviewing and looking at as well. Same thing with any blog posts that we write. We have it automatically feeding in so that the team knows when they've been posted, what they are, etc. And the exciting part is we now have a lot of our clients' blogs feeding into Slack as well. So yes, it's a great internal tool, and this morning there was, in the random channel, who wants bacon and egg rolls? So it certainly still has that fun feel and that sharing feel. But we really do a lot more than just the standard things with Slack. We also use a tool called Gel. So this is basically another add-on to Slack that every single day asks a series of questions to the entire team and posts the answers to those questions back into Slack. So the team gets a reminder, they click on their Gel at the end of the day, and they can write things down like, what's the biggest problem you solved for a client today? What was your biggest roadblock in what you were trying to do today? And what's one thing you could have eliminated, automated, or delegated? So Slack is now kind of our knowledge base of things that are frustrating for the whole team, of problems that we've been able to solve, and of things that we want to get done as well. And it's great to be able to go back and have a look at those channels at the end of each quarter and review where we are up to. So we're certainly using Slack as the internal communication when people are having leave, when people are doing other bits and pieces as well, but its main focus for us is around learning and certainly around problems that people are solving, where things are up to, or how they can best improve those things as well. And I know we only use, a couple of little add-ons with Slack, and we certainly don't do everything that you possibly can, but it works really, really well. We certainly don't use it for client communication because all of that is done inside Karbon emailing or putting notes against the client, but for every single thing that we do internally, it's all done within Slack. No emails, no needing to have a discussion and people forgetting about it. It's got that whole history, which is really, really easy. And of course, search is amazing. It's awesome that I could answer your question about communication tools and applications, Rob, because this week alone I've spent a half a day with a couple of other accountants going over our problems and collaborating and trying to share together. And part of our discussions during the day was around the different applications and different things that we use in our businesses, because between all three of us, it was actually quite varied. And there's a lot of questions coming through and a lot of accountants asking, what applications are you using and do I need to be using these as well? And our discussions got to the fact that we can't just be implementing solutions and software for the sake of implementing solutions and software. We can't consistently just change every single thing that we use internally in our businesses for the sake of changing. We're all at that stage, especially those of us who've been using a lot of tech in our businesses for the last 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, that we need to be able to step back and make sure anything that we are implementing is really going to give us that next level advantage and really help us take our business to that next phase. And I come across this not only with accountants that I chat to, but also for business owners as well. I refer to this as the shiny new toy syndrome, in that anything new you end up needing to have. And we get asked a lot of questions from accountants in relation to, should I be using this app and should I be doing that? And it's great that as accountants we've got an enormous amount of availability and choice when it comes to the things that we use in our business and the things that we can use with our clients to really help improve their lives as well. And I don't think there is a one size fits all kind of solution that across the board is going to do everything that you want it to do in your business. You've still got to be able to step back and think about where are the pain points. Where are the pain points for your team? Where are the pain points for your clients? And where are the pain points overall in that mix between your team, the internal and the external with your clients as well? So I'm a massive fan of actually stepping back rather than just implementing the next new thing in technology to make sure that there's a good reason to do that. And that goes from if you were wanting to change from, one receipt app to another receipt app, or looking at changing from a Yammer to a Slack in our example. We really thought long and hard about when we changed and why we wanted to change, because we had an enormous amount of legacy in Yammer and it was doing, for the most part, 95% of what we needed it to do. However, it wasn't doing the crucial things, that extra 5% that was super important for us. And in changing, it meant that we got a tool that could do 100% extra than what we were actually getting out of Yammer in that first instance. So across the board in tools you're using and where you're up to is certainly going to be different for every single business owner. So for us, we started to use Karbon as an example over 6 months ago now, and it has been a game changer for workflow and being able to actually have a good handle on small tasks versus big jobs and everything in between, and we've absolutely loved it. And likewise, I remember when we were setting up to start using Spotlight reporting, we'd been using Excel, and sure, Excel worked, and sure, you could create some graphs and you could have templates and just had to copy and paste that data in, but Spotlight came along, automated all of that and changed our entire lives. So I really encourage you, when you're looking at solutions, when you're asking people what tools are they actually using, go back and ask them a different set of questions and ask them what they were using beforehand, why they decided to make the change, and the big difference that it has actually made for them. Go back and ask the question of, what does this app or tool actually solve in your business that you would have to either do manually or you would have to have some other tool or application to do for you? I love sharing what's working for GrowthWise, and I know there are a few accountants that I get to talk to all the time, and they share so many nuggets of wisdom with me as well, that it's great we can all get together and say this is working and this isn't working. So I would love to hear from you in terms of what are the apps that you just cannot live without, what's really, really working very well in your business, and maybe perhaps something that you've thrown out and what you've been able to change and what you've been able to use instead, and the difference that that has made for your business. So would love to hear from you, read that. Make sure that you are using the hashtag StephQA to ask any questions that you might have, any problems in your business, or just for a general chat about what's working well for you and what's not. I think the more as accountants we can collaborate and share on the good and the bad, the better our entire industry can be in the long run. So that's a wrap for episode 8. I can't wait to keep the discussions going during the week, and I'll be back next week with episode 9.